Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of My Solo Chronicles, where today in this episode, I'm going to talk about my quick trip to San Francisco. I finally got a chance to go there, and I'm absolutely excited. I'm glad I'm able to. Before I even moved to California, I would always say if I ever did, I'm going to go to San Francisco. I don't care if it's for a day or 2 days or 3 days or a couple of weeks, I'm going to visit San Francisco. And because my time in California is now coming to an end very quickly, I'm getting ready to drive back home to Michigan before I go over to Japan to start working and just living over there. I wanted to end this chapter of my life in California with a trip. And if I'm going to go to San Francisco, I want to see two main things. That's it. I want to see the Golden Gate Bridge where I'm able to walk across it. And I'm also interested in going to Alcatraz. And guess what? I got to do both of those and then some. So I literally was only in San Francisco for I guess you could say 2 nights. I flew out on the 19th and I got there, pretty early still in the day. So I landed about 12:20 p.m. It was like by the time I got to my Airbnb, it was probably, I want to say maybe about like 2:30, 3 o'clock. So the day I still had a full day really to go out and explore the area that I was actually staying in, which was like central San Francisco. I put my bags down and I'm still in this like adrenaline rush because I'm like, wow, I can't believe that I'm actually here. And like I said, there's no other way to wrap up this chapter of my life in California than to go to San Francisco. And I've always seen things on television. I'm always seeing stuff on television or online before I actually go and see them. So, so to actually see everything in person and be in a certain location in person is just so overwhelming. Like I said, that adrenaline rush is so high. I relaxed for a little bit, and I mean a little bit, and just dropped my bags, freshened up a little bit, had something to eat really quick, and I was out the door. That literally that first day. And that was the great thing too. It was, my flight, because originally I was gonna drive. But then I changed my mind and I was like, I'm not going to drive 5, 6 hours to San Francisco because then I got to worry about parking. I don't know nothing about parking there. So I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to, take a train or a bus or whatever. I was like, you know what? The quickest way for me to get there, because when I tell you this was going to be a quick turnaround, I knew exactly what I wanted to do. And I wanted to just get there and still have time to do what I was going to do or what I wanted to do. I did everything and I was out the door. And this was like the first day. And the good thing about my Airbnb and where I was at, I was near I went to this one museum. And I'm gonna find me a museum. I don't care where I'm at. I'm gonna find me a museum. I just love museums. If I could live in a museum, I would. But anyways, so I went to this museum. It's called the Museum of the African Diaspora. I guarantee you I'm saying that last word wrong, but it was so much like just African art that was amazing. There goes my word, amazing. Did I tell y'all I was going to trademark that? Yes, I'm going to trademark that. But you saw so much artwork that was from, African American artists from the Museum of African Diaspora, or let's just say the Museum for African Art, because I cannot pronounce that word right. I went to the San Francisco Maritime National Historical Park, and that's where you see like the ships. I call them ships. I don't know what boats or whatever you want to call them, but you're literally off the water, and you're going towards the Golden Gate Bridge. I also went to, and I'm just about to tell y'all right now, this place was sinful. I went in there, and I'm like lactose intolerant. But I said, for this place, I'm gonna just sacrifice. I'm gonna take one for the team. And I'm pretty sure everybody knows about it's called the Ghirardelli chocolates, and those are like really good chocolates. Well, there's an actual place in San Francisco that you can go in there, you can buy chocolates, you can get ice cream. You can actually buy the Ghirardelli ice cream or the Ghirardelli chocolates. You can buy that, and it's the original shop. And I forgot when they said it's the original shop that was created in like 1800 or something like that. I'm pretty sure I got the dates wrong, but that place will set you up. If you're on a diet or you trying to eat healthy, just walk past that place. Don't even go in because you're gonna set yourself up. But anyways, just the area that I was in, I was near a Trader Joe's, a Walgreens, a Starbucks. So I made sure that wherever I was going to stay, I wanted to make sure one, I was in walking distance of a lot of stuff. And that in case I had to like go and get like personal items or whatever, I was near a CVS or a Walgreens or something like that. And there was even an IKEA not too far from where I was at too. So that was really good. Not that I was going to go in IKEA, but there's an IKEA not too far from where I was at. So my second day, the main target of my trip was going to Alcatraz. So I signed up with this company. You can Google. There's quite a few trip companies that take you to Alcatraz that offer the Alcatraz tours. And I can't think of the name off top of the company that I use, but my ticket. Oh my gosh, my ticket. I am so glad I was interested in doing this, but it was $53 or 53 $54. I said for that amount, Al Capone's ghost better walk up and tap me on my shoulder. Cause this for $53, $54, it better be worth it. So the trip from the point of where you leave and you actually depart on the ferry from Pier 33. And then from the Pier 33 to the island itself, it's like 10, 15, 20 minutes. You're not on the boat that long. And I'm not really a boat person, and I'm so glad that it was like a short trip over, and it's round trip as well. So that's the good thing too. So you get you get off at Alcatraz and then you're there for like 2.5 hours. And with this tour, it gave me access to like the Alcatraz prison where I was going to go in with like a group of other people, and you could go in and we pretty much this. I will say for this one, I did stay within a group. Even though you're with a group, you still had like they gave you the headphones for the audio tour. So as you're walking past stuff, you can actually listen to like the history of something you might be looking at, or you might be in a part of the prison where it's exhibits, and you could hear it through the audio headphones. So that was pretty good, but you was still within a group. It was almost like you was by yourself, but you wasn't by yourself. You can do like a night tour. I know that's probably very popular. I was not trying to do a night tour because I knew I was leaving kind of early, like on my third day. So I was like, yeah, I'm not going to do a night tour. So I got a ticket for my ferry left at 11 o'clock. So I got a tour really early so I could go in there because, like I said, it's a 2.5 hour like tour, and you're walking around and you're looking at different things. To do a night tour, personally, for me, was not feasible. You get to walk around the island a little bit, and there's also when you walk around the island, there's a trail, and it's called the a cave or a gave trail, and that gives you like the best view of everything from the cliffs. You can see flowers. You get a good view of the Golden Gate Bridge, the ocean, everything. So if you ever go, it's called a Gave Trail, and we did that right after. Well, we was still touring because we was all still in a group, so pretty much everybody was pretty much sticking together. So once you went inside and you did the tour of the prison, you could kind of go out and you still had time to do that tour. My thing was, I know Al Capone was a prisoner there. And when you talk about Alcatraz, even if you see like the history of Alcatraz on in documentaries on television, they always talk about Al Capone. And let me just tell you, he lived like a king. For him to be there in prison for criminal acts, his cell, he lived immaculate. I'm just like, wow. It's like, who would even want to escape from this place if they're going to set you up like that? But then again, that was Al Capone. Find out the history about the three guys that escaped from Alcatraz, and I think they were the only individuals to do that. It was so slick because they actually set their sails up to make it look like they were actually there, when they actually wasn't, and they because they ended up escaping through a hole in the wall of their jail cell. But I'm pretty sure y'all don't heard of them. It's the three guys were John and Clarence England, and the other guy was Frank Morris. To this day, they still don't know if they made it to dry land from Alcatraz or not. Let me just tell you, I'd be surprised if they survived it, because that water was no joke. I mean, like I said, I'm not a big fan of boats, and especially if they're on water and they're going across crazy wavy water. That I'm not a fan of that. But I would be surprised if they even, survive that. So, so another thing too is that the jail cells, I was like, oh my gosh, because I've seen documentaries about about Alcatraz, and I'm like, you would hear like different sounds or whatever, and it's just like, okay, is that a ghost? Here I am with this, this whole ghost thing again. You going into the jail cells, it's almost like it's very eerie, and it's almost like it's a presence there with you. To go into actual jail cells where men were housed for criminal activity, whether it was murder, robbery, or whatever, it was just eerie to me. It's just, I felt like I was intruding on their personal space, even though it was a jail cell. But it was just so informative, because that's, to me, that was history. You're walking along history. And this place, it's massive. I mean, literally massive. And the way that the tour guides, take you through everything, and just, they give you history as well if you don't do the audio headphones. After walking around and, snapping pictures a little bit and looking at, like I said, there's the trail that you can go along, and you can see a great view of everything. We get back on the boat. Now, mind you, this is my second day there, but it's also my last day. I just looked at it and I said, "Wow, I can finally say this is something else that I got a chance to do." And that's an experience that, I'll never forget. Another, check off my list of things I have done in California. We get um, back on the other side of the water, and we're back now in San Francisco. And again, I just walked around and went to one other museum. I got to see a trolley. You see how excited I got about seeing a trolley? I'm just like, oh my gosh, because of San Francisco. When you think about San Francisco, you think about what, the Five Sisters, which are the houses that are like, you see it in the opening of, and I'm probably dating myself. Oh, what's the name of the show? Full House. You see those five houses, but then to see a trolley, that is iconic to me, because that represents San Francisco. So I wanted, and again, I love Monk, the TV show. And there's, I think towards the end or something like that, you see him in one of his episodes. He's walking along where the Golden Gate Bridge was. So to kind of wrap up my day before I would pack up and get ready to fly back to um, LA, I wanted to have my monk moment. I am going to walk across the Golden Gate Bridge. Yep, I said that. Well, guess what? I walked, not the full entire Golden Gate Bridge. I did half. I did half a walk, and then I turned around and I came back and started headed back towards my Airbnb. It was windy as hell. I was like, Ned, I'm not doing this. I'm not gonna get blown off this bridge before I have to fly back. But to say that, I walked across the Golden Gate Bridge, I had my monk moment. It's hilarious, but it was so awesome too. So that's how I ended my day, or my day and a half of being in San Francisco. I got to visit two of the places I wanted to go to, Alcatraz and walk across the Golden Gate Bridge. Most people be like, that is so crazy. Why would you just have those two? Like I said in a previous episode, when I know I want to do something, I have an itinerary and I do it. What I want to do pretty much dictates how long I'm going to be in a certain place. That's kind of how I look at it. So to actually say that I did those two things and I was able to have that time before I head back east. Um, it's, a dream come true. That's how I look at it. Well, this is actually the final episode of this California journey. So going forward, I'm gonna try to drop in a few episodes of me being back home in Michigan, because I'll only be home in Michigan for like a month and a half, and then March 15th I fly to Japan, and I'm looking forward to just you know uploading episodes of the solo things I will do in Japan. I'm looking forward to that, and I'm gonna be looking forward to sharing that with you. So I thank you so much for coming this far with me, and it's about to get even better. So I hope you enjoy this episode. I look forward to talking to all of you soon. Have a great rest of the day. Take care, my moonbeams. Bye.